just happened. I gotta tell you something. I'm outraged.
Yes, I'm just warning you to please try to calm down. Don't jump off.
I'm really outraged.
He's been losing it when the indictment came down. The indictment against Lori Loughlin and her husband Massimo.
So we should explain. I'm going to try to quickly explain this. So yesterday Felicity Huffman copped a plea in this college bribery case, and the prosecutors are going to recommend a minimum of 4 months in prison. Lori Loughlin, her time goes up because of the amount that she allegedly paid Rick Singer, the ringleader. Lori Loughlin, remember, only paid, Felicity only paid $15,000.
Right.
Lori paid $500,000 to get her 2 kids.
Lori and her husband. And they paid $500,000. And they did not take a plea deal. Important to say, they did not take a plea deal.
But the amount triggers a much higher minimum prison sentence, which would be 2 years for Lori. Now, we just put something up on the website at 1 in the morning saying that if Lori doesn't take it, we found out that prosecutors were going to go to the grand jury and they were going to ask the grand jury, because remember, this was just the prosecutors charging. They were going to go to the grand jury and say, forget the charge, indict them on not just what we charged them with, but add money laundering to the equation, and that's going to up the prison sentence.
Now, we, like you said, we posted that at 1 in the morning, so we knew that they were on the clock, that basically prosecutors are like, let's go. You're going to make a deal or not? I don't know. I know when
15 minutes ago.
I didn't realize that the prosecutors meant today.
But that's exactly what happened. So they went to the grand jury today, and the grand jury has now indicted Lori, her husband, and 14 others who didn't take a plea the other day. And now this conspiracy to commit money laundering ups this from 2 years minimum to 4 years, 9 months minimum. So it's much more than double. So now, even if she cops a plea, now they're going to get her minimum. They're going to recommend to the judge 4 years, 9 months in federal prison. Now,
again, as we said when Felicity struck her plea deal, that's what prosecutors will recommend. The judge ultimately can decide whatever. But
look at what happened. The prosecutors
they more than doubled because she didn't take the plea deal on the same day that Felicity did. Now they said, we're just going to screw you. We're going to hit you with some more charges, and now it's more than doubled, right?
It's more than double.
Yeah, it's more than double.
And now here's the thing. I want to throw one other thing in the equation. I'll tell you why I'm outraged at this. They are just trying. This is ridiculous. It's like, okay, you charged her, and if she doesn't want a plea deal, go to trial. But what they're saying is, okay, you don't want a plea deal, we're going to screw you, and we're going to take this to the grand jury, and we're going to add money laundering.
We should also say, it's true, but we should also say, you're not suggesting that prosecutors didn't make up a charge, right? They presumably have evidence to back up.
Why didn't they? Okay, here's how bogus.
Because maybe they didn't want to overcharge initially.
Well, then this is overcharging?
Maybe.
Well, okay,
maybe, but
that's my outrage.
My point is, they must have some evidence of this, otherwise they wouldn't have gotten a grand jury indictment.
So let me ask you something. Reagan,
in order to get the grand jury indictment, they had to go before a grand jury and say, here is what we have.
I got it.
Prosecutors had to say that.
So let me. And
the grand jury decided, okay, you've got enough. We're going to indict them.
I promise you, I will not belabor this, but I got to make this point. Is Derek back there?
Really?
I'm right here, Harvey.
Okay. So Derek. They have done something additional that I'm going to briefly explain to you, and this is why it's so ridiculous. They charge them not with money laundering, but all 16 of these people now are charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering. Now, what we told you yesterday and we're telling you today is the amount of money that they paid for bribes is the determining factor on what the minimum sentence is going to be.
Right, so the length of the prison sentence directly connected to how much money you've paid.
So by charging them with conspiracy to commit money laundering, what they are saying is all 16 of these people, even though none of them really knew each other, are in a conspiracy with the ringleader, Rick Singer. This is called a spoke and wheel conspiracy. That they're all in a conspiracy with Rick Singer. So you add up all the money that all 16 paid, even though they didn't know each other.
So whereas before Lori and Massimo's sentence was going to be based on their $500,000,
$500,000.
Now it'll be based upon
millions of dollars that all 16 total paid.
And that's why it's gone up to 4 years, 9 months minimum.
No, actually, Charles, it would be more than that. I didn't even compute the conspiracy part.
Oh, so the minimum could be, if they get hit with the conspiracy,
it could be throw away the key in the jail cell.
Yeah, Charles and Harvey, I looked through this. I did a rough estimate. There's around $4 million in payments. It's just a rough estimate of adding all these up. And it's outrageous, as you said, because the spokes don't talk to each other. Lori Loughlin probably doesn't know the other 15 people, but because the hub in the middle is Rick Singer, they're tagging her with information about all of that to up the sentence. And that's wild.
You know what the lesson here is? You shouldn't cheat.
Oh my God!
Don't cheat.
You sound like Richard Nixon.
I'm saying, don't.
You sound like Richard Nixon.
Look, I named my daughter Richard Nixon. He's no Richard Nixon.
Hi guys, my name is Ashley Holbrook. I'm calling from Philadelphia, PA. Lori, at this point, she should just take the plea deal. I'm like, you can't get out of it at this point. At this point, there's no getting out of it. So you do the time, you gotta do the time.
Is there any way for her to turn back there and say, hey, about that offer, about that 2-year offer? The 2-year offer was pretty good.
You
can't do that, right?
They are just trying to kill him. We're going to move on.
Yes, to some shocking information about a vigil that was held for Nipsey Hussle. And you've probably seen this visual, but we've just learned some new information about what went down. This was the day after, this was last Monday, so the day after Nipsey was shot and killed. This was outside the Marathon clothing store, and they're having a candlelight vigil, and everyone panicked and fled because they thought they'd heard gunshots. Now, initially, police said they had no report of anyone being shot there. Well, that has now changed, and some really scary information behind it. Police are now talking about there were 2 people who were shot there. And now they think that there was someone with a high-powered weapon who was trying to kill people in that crowd.
And what they've done, Charles, they're getting a search warrant to try and check the area for any evidence. When this thing first happened, police said that someone did pull out a gun in the middle of this ceremony and someone tried to disarm them, but no shots were fired. So clearly, these women who came forward and said, yo, I was shot at the event, they're looking for evidence that that really happened.
I don't know how the police initially said nobody was shot when 2 people got shot. It's weird.
Well, they thought that they were shot somewhere else, right?
Correct. So 2 women came to the hospital and they said that they had been shot, but they did not say it was at the memorial. A couple hours later, they told police, yes, this did happen at the memorial.
Yet after that, the police said they had no evidence of any shots being fired, which is why this is so puzzling.
Right.
But now they're saying, in this document, they say, we know that somebody was there to murder people. This is the day after Nipsey Hussle got murdered. The day after, somebody showed up at this event to murder people, and they are now on the hunt to figure out who that was.
Wow, it's just scary when you see the number of people that were there and why they were there, that something like that.
Meanwhile, the tickets went like that for the memorial.
Thursday memorial at Staples Center.
In a matter of minutes, they were all spoken for.
The good news is, however, though, that there is going to be a procession following the memorial service that will go through South Los Angeles. It's going to go about 25 miles and even pass by the Marathon clothing store, which, of course, is such a huge part of Nipsey's life and death, where he died, and it's going to give people a chance to say goodbye to him, even if they can't get tickets at the memorial service.
The one thing I don't understand is there are no cameras allowed right now, at least. There's going to be no live streaming. There's going to be no broadcasting of the service. And I'm just puzzled as to why they don't want that, because there's such an outpouring.
I gotta say that, like we said, the tickets are already gone for Staples Center, but I think they went so quickly that the organizers have to realize at this point that there are so many more people who want to see this that they've got to set up some
nationwide
kind of
too. I mean, I have to tell you, when I've been speaking with affiliates and other reporters nationwide, everyone has been asking about this story.
But the weird thing is, it's like they really are putting a clamp on any publicity outside the venue in terms of even broadcasting or live streaming it.
Well, it's strange you consider, the fact that the Michael Jackson funeral was, televised as well, because they wanted people to have that access.
I think that, in a situation like that, everybody grieves differently. Michael Jackson was who he was. They probably thought it was a major news moment for a lot of people outside of whatever. Is there a possibility here that maybe this is, like, for example, someone close to me passed away, wouldn't want cameras at their funeral, whether or not they were a celebrity or not. In this particular case, this is actually a memorial service for the community of Los Angeles, a big community that wants to come out here and show that they love Nip, but maybe they don't want the extra added media press that's going to go on with having cameras there. If they want to keep the grief and the outpouring of emotion genuine, then maybe it's not something that you want to turn
Maybe,
into. Like,
but there's so many people in Los Angeles who
And you're going to do a procession.
Well, the procession is the way that people can do that, right? So if there are people here in Los Angeles and they want to, and the procession is going to go, they're doing everything that they can to make sure that people have a genuine outpouring of sort of emotion for Nip, and maybe not just something for entertainment purposes.
Well, okay, but I'm with you up to entertainment. I think people want to grieve too.
Like people outside of LA.
I think that there are people outside of LA that want to grieve, and I don't think that there's anything that's swaying them grieving. And they will.
They just won't be able to do it there.
There's also going to be a lot of look at who's in the, and maybe they don't want that energy kind of surrounding Nip, because that's kind of not what he was about.
Okay. Speaking of, we're going to take a break.
But when we come back, those heinous words, really, that Kodak Black had to say about Lauren London, Nipsey Hussle's girlfriend, have really come back to bite him. We talked yesterday about how it's affecting his career. Well, now T.I. has taken a huge step at his museum in Atlanta. Yes, Kodak Black canceled at the museum.